Today we are taking Black Ops 3 to where it has never gone before. We are going to be reaching the world's first Black Ops 3 Insta-kill round. Insta-kill rounds are one of the most interesting parts of any high round run. You see, it's weird. At round 163, all of a sudden the zombies' health just basically drops to nothing. And when it does this, the zombies, well, die like you have insta-kill. And the round moves much faster, it's a lot easier. But then all of a sudden at round 164, it's back to normal. And then at round 165, it's insta-kill again. It's a weird quirk in Black Ops 1 and World at War that has become a staple of high round runs in those games. This, however, is noticeably absent from Black Ops 3, and it means that we have to play the rounds like normal during a high round run. But what if we can find a way to manipulate Black Ops 3's code to reach insta-kill rounds? That's what we're going to be doing today. My interest in this topic started a little over a year ago with this Reddit thread. The thread is over 4 years old and was created by a now deleted user on Reddit, so I can't give them credit, unfortunately, for this thread, but someone had tweeted it to me to bring it to my attention. I also lost track of who sent me this tweet, so I'm very sorry about that, but what they wanted me to do was investigate some of the claims in this thread. The thread is by a young programmer who was investigating what's going on under the hood during insta-kill rounds. He explains that they start at round 163 and calculated every insta-kill round up to round 299. Now, none of this was exactly new, either new to me or new to the community, but there was one interesting line in this thread. He said, some newer maps have insta-kill rounds starting later, which is probably due to a larger data type for the health value. If it's a signed 64-bit value, most likely in Black Ops 3 as it's optimized for 64-bit CPUs, the first insta-kill round would be 396. So we have another milestone to beat. What he's claiming is that basically Black Ops 4 is using a 64-bit integer to store its values in-game. And if we keep increasing this number to the point where it rolls over, which should be, according to his calculations, around 396, we will reach Black Ops 3 insta-kill rounds. Now, most people in the thread were quick to point out that, well, you can't reach anywhere higher than 255 in Black Ops 3, and even if you were to go that high, you'd probably reset. So, at the end of the day, what's the point? That's kind of case closed, end of story there. It would be impossible to reach round 396 and verify this guy's claims. Except, here's the thing, there are workarounds. A few years back when I was working on my round 255 video, Carlos, also known as Roll On Math, was helping me, and he dug up some of the code in Black Ops 3 that controls the round counter. The reason we can't get to round 256 or higher in Black Ops 3 is not because of some bug or because the value is stored in an 8-bit integer. No, there's literally a line of code that says if the round is higher than 255, set it to 255. That's all it is. It's literally hard-coded in there as a limit. The thing is, what you can do is just comment out that code, and then you can go higher than 255. There's already mods that do this, and Russian made a whole video showing this off if you want to check it out yourself, but this got me thinking, what if we just remove the round 255 cap and play all the way to 396 so that we can experience the world's first Black Ops 3 insta-kill round? This would be right up my alley, considering I've already done a 255 video, I've already done an insta-kill video, and I'm also first in the world for every single Easter egg, past, present, and future. Why not? Well, the first problem is that it would take forever to get to round 396. In fact, it takes you around 90 hours, give or take, depending on which map you're playing, to reach 255 in Black Ops 3, so tack on another set of exponential rounds, and 396 just seems like a waste of time. But what we could do is remove the limit and then use a mod that allows us to skip rounds in order to get to round 396 quickly. There are already mods for skipping rounds, and there are already mods to remove the 255 cap limit, but there are no mods that do both at the same time, and you can't run 2 mods at once. So at this point I was saying to myself, well, I do have this fancy degree in computer science, so why don't I just create the mod myself? It'll just be a quick 20-minute adventure, in and out, learn some GSC scripting, learn how to create a mod, boom, it'll be done in no time, and we'll reach insta-kill rounds like that. Oh my god, creating a mod in Black Ops 3 Zombies fucking sucked. I had no idea how frustrating of a process this could be. It took me like 20 hours. I was ready to pull out my hair. I'm pretty sure I gained like 20 more gray hairs in the process. This absolutely sucked. And I want to give a huge thank you to a number of people. First off, thank you to Flip the Bit for helping me get started and helping me with some bug fixing. Thank you to Wakaveli for helping me out as well, writing out some of the script and also helping me with the bugs I ran into. Thank you so much to Ducky. You were probably the most patient person of all as I was working through all these weird little errors every time I tried to run my mod. And also thank you again to Carlos Roll on Math. You were probably the biggest lifesaver in this video because I had a script that was kind of working but not quite, and then I sent it to you just to take a look at, and then like an hour later you were like, boom, it's done, go ahead and run it, your script should be working now. So thank you guys so much for helping me out. And now, after 20 hours of really getting ready to pull my hair out, we, ladies and gentlemen, have a mod to reach insta-kill rounds in Black Ops 3. I hate to do this, but before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, can we just take 1 minute to quickly plug some of my merch as well as ask you guys to help support the channel? Videos like these take hours and hours and hours of work to put together. This is not just your standard zombies commentary that takes 2 hours to throw together. So if you want to see more videos like this and support my channel, then maybe consider picking up some merch. We've got the Pack-a-Punch hat, and fall is coming, so why not get the Perkaholics Anonymous sweatshirt, the only merch in the Zombies game that lets you rock Perkaholic wherever you are. We also have the Zombie Killer sweatshirt if you want that as well. But thank you guys so much. Please support the channel. It helps make videos like this happen, and let's get into the good part. So here we are, guys, now with a mod that should work and should take us all the way to round 396. You'll notice looking at the code, we have a little bit of a loop that checks to make sure that we've been holding down the F or the use key, which is X on the controller, for 5 seconds. If we've done so, what it'll do is use this Treyarch function, go to round, and take us to 396. And we should be able to go all the way because we've removed the segment of code that prevents us from going past 255. So with all of that here, we're going to go into the Mod Tools launcher and run and build our mod. So here we are in Black Ops 3. You'll notice at the top that it has our mod, and you'll also notice that we open up Black Ops 3 in offline mode. Alright, so here we are in game, and here comes the zombies. You'll notice that their health is pretty normal, but what we're gonna do now is hold down X. Let's find some zombies so we can see them. We're gonna hold down X for 5 seconds. Everybody on the map is going to die, and we are going to jump ahead to 396. You'll notice that the round counter breaks because, well, Treyarch didn't expect the round counter to ever go that high. They've set it to 255. So here's the thing. You'll notice that it said 255. Don't worry about that. We know we're higher because the round counter is broken, as you can see there. But the health was around 2 billion. It wasn't a negative number, and you'll see we're shooting this RK5 into the zombies, so they must have a pretty high health if they haven't died yet. We can put this whole clip in and we won't even get close to killing them, but what this means is that something's not right. We're at round 369 on paper, but the health was around 2 billion. It wasn't at the overflow number, and it wasn't in the negatives. So this kind of debunks the idea that insta-kill rounds start at 396. Yeah, so at this point, I was ready to scrap the video. And before I did, I was like, well, let's just quickly investigate what's going on with the zombie health at round 396. The first clue I noticed is that the health is around 2 billion. It's actually the last proper health that happens before an insta-kill round in Black Ops 1, which was suspicious. So I dug around in the code and I found this function, AI_calculate_health. And when reading the function, it calculates the health like we'd expect. But then there's this little line of code, and sure enough, it literally says if the new zombie's health is less than the old zombie's health, which should never happen because it should increase with each round, then set the new health to the old health and return, which means like exit the function. And this makes sense because if the new health is ever less than the low health, then something has gone wrong, and let's just take that old good health and run with it. In fact, before this little bit of code, there's even a comment from the devs acknowledging what's going on here. The dev wrote, literally, "We must have overflowed the signed integer space. Just use the last good health. This will give us some headroom to the capped value to account for extra damage application." So believe it or not, this actually gave me a little bit of hope that this video can still be saved, and here's why. All we have to do is just remove that little segment of code and boom, we're back in business. Insta-kill rounds are on the menu. In fact, it should be easier. We should only need to reach round 163, just like in Black Ops 1, to reach insta-kill rounds. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail explaining why. I've already made a video explaining insta-kill rounds, 2's complement, integer overflows, and it's pretty in-depth, and I don't want to bore you guys with the computer science, so allow me to give you an abridged version. In Black Ops 1, we had 32 bits to store our numbers, which means we had 32 ones and zeros to represent any number we want. This gave us a max number around 2,147,000,000. And if you added more to that number or went over, what happened was an overflow, and the number actually became negative because we ran out of space to calculate that number. And so we suspected that Black Ops 3 was using 64-bit integers to store its values. What this meant was that we had a max digit that was around 9 quintillion, absolutely massive. And we figured that, well, going up to around 255, we just never got close to 9 quintillion. And we'd actually need to get to around 396 to get to 9 quintillion. But that's not actually the case, because if we look, when we reach around 396, the last good health value was actually set at around 2 billion. We're not even close to 9 quintillion. We're closer to 2.1 billion, which is the 32-bit limit. This means that Black Ops 3 is probably storing its values in a 32-bit integer, not a 64-bit integer. And this means that if we want to reach insta-kill rounds, all we have to do is remove that segment of code and then go to round 163. So with that lesson in computer science out of the way, I made some changes to my code. I removed that bit of code that prevents the overflow, and I also set the round number that we're gonna jump to 163 rather than 396. So now for real, let's go reach some insta-kill rounds. Alright, so here we are at round 1. You'll notice that the zombies come in and they've got a little bit of health to them. It takes about a full mag of the MR6 to kill them, but if we hold down the use button, you'll see after 5 seconds, let's see, skipping rounds, we're gonna jump all the way to round 163. And then, baby, we have insta-kill rounds. We just gotta wait for some zombies to come in. Yep, there we go. You'll notice the health is now negative. We are at negative 2,055,000,000. In come the zombies, and one of the weird things, and I don't know why this is the case, but they're stuck in the window. I don't know, but you'll notice it takes one shot at the MR6 and then these guys are dead. The dog health is the same. This is because the dog health just caps and then doesn't increase exponentially, but at round 1 or round 163, they're easy enough to kill. See, that's the weird thing. I don't know why they're piling up in the windows. Clearly something is wrong with my mod / my script, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Guys, this was such a pain in the ass to get working that I'm not even gonna bother figuring out why the zombies aren't pathing for me and why they're just getting stuck in the windows. I mean, This is what I was talking about when I said that creating this script and learning how to mod and writing in GSC was such a pain in the ass. I mean, why on earth does me suddenly skipping rounds and just changing 2 lines of code in these zombies' health code all of a sudden prevent them from pathing towards me? If somebody wants to challenge themselves and figure this out themselves and be my guest, I'll share with you my source code so you can do it yourself. But yeah, here we are. You'll see the zombies die pretty easily. They're stuck in the windows for some odd reason. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the world's first Black Ops 3 Zombies Insta-kill, and it happens at round 163. And I guess this is a real easy way to play zombies. Just run around the spawn, kill them from the windows, and occasionally take care of the dogs. This is certainly one way to play zombies. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got to the bottom of this insta-kill mystery and we reached the world's first Black Ops 3 insta-kill round. Now, of course, we didn't achieve it as if we had played for hundreds and hundreds of hours. No, we just used a mod to jump right to it. But the case is cracked and now we know what's going on. What does this mean though in the grand scheme of things? Honestly, not much. It also doesn't really affect the world record scene. I mean, there's no rule set probably ever that would allow someone to use a mod like this for a high round run. So there really is no point as far as like a competitive meta standpoint goes, but it's still interesting to know. Now we know for a fact that Black Ops 3 uses 32-bit integers, not 64-bit integers, although there's other ways we could have figured that out, and it also really wasn't that important to begin with, but it's still cool. I think the most interesting part about this is more the why this is the case, and it gives us a glimpse into an alternate future. So we have this little comment here written by one of Treyarch's developers, and he really acknowledges that, like, okay, I just noticed if we keep going, we're going to eventually overflow, so let me just put this little line of code in to prevent this from happening. And he put that in there for other developers to see, which means that this was something he just noticed and probably did on his own. This wasn't something that Treyarch sat down in a meeting to do, and had this developer not noticed, we probably would have had insta-kill rounds in Black Ops 3. This, of course, as I mentioned earlier, doesn't exactly change the high round meta or the speed running meta, because if you actually compare times, I went and I looked at oJumpy's round 163 where he's using gobblegums and alternate ammo types. It takes him about 30 minutes, which is on pace to what other players were able to do at round 163 with insta-kill. I don't know if it would actually make the game faster. Just simply comparing round 163 on Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 3 doesn't show much of a difference with insta-kill rounds, but it's still interesting nonetheless. It makes you think, well, what would it look like if maybe they didn't include the 255 cap limit and they didn't prevent insta-kill rounds from not happening? Then what we'd have is a world in which players could get to as high as they wanted, and they'd have the benefit of insta-kill rounds, and they'd maybe tailor their strategies to insta-kill rounds to go even faster and even higher. It would also make a number of rounds easier. There's 37 insta-kill rounds from round 163 to round 255. So those are 37 rounds that are a lot less stressful, low stakes, and potentially faster depending on how you play and what strategies you use. Of course, this varies from map to map. I have to really watch the words I use because, as I've learned anything from the high round community and making high round videos, you guys are very feisty when people get information wrong. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. You guys would know better than me. I think it's still interesting nonetheless that literally if it wasn't for that one dev noticing that we could potentially overflow and then fixing that line of code with a simple if statement, we would have insta-kill rounds in Black Ops 3. And I think that's a pretty interesting little piece of zombies trivia that we didn't know before we started this quick 20-minute in and out adventure into GSC's modding and scripting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was the world's first Black Ops 3 Zombies insta-kill round. Sorry if it was a little underwhelming. I know I certainly was a little disappointed, and especially after all the frustration and pulling out my hair, I thought we'd get a little bit closer. I want to give a thank you to everybody who helped me with this video. Thank you to Flip the Bit. Thank you to Wakaveli. Thank you to Ducky. Thank you to Carlos. Without you guys, this video would not be possible. So in the history of zombies, I would like to give credit to the world's first Black Ops 3 insta-kill round to myself, Ducky, Wakaveli, Flip the Bit, and Carlos. It is this team of people that don't know they're in a team. It was just me asking help from various people, but it was this team that made this possible. So thank you guys. That's gonna wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, maybe subscribe. Go ahead and pick up some merch like the Perkaholics Anonymous sweatshirt or the Zombie Killer sweatshirt if you want to help make more videos like this possible. And also let me know down below, now that I understand how to make mods, what other things in zombies would you like me to try, exploit, or learn about by digging under the hood? That could be really interesting for future videos. I'm gonna go though. Have a wonderful day and bye. Hey, you made it to the end of this video, and if you made it this far, then you probably enjoy this content, and maybe consider subscribing to me on Patreon. Like I said in the video, these videos take a long time to make, especially this one. I thought this was going to be an easy video to make, and it ended up becoming a nightmare. And I'm glad it came together in some shape or form, but oh my god, was I stressing out about it. And if you'd like to alleviate my stress, maybe consider subscribing on Patreon, where we have bonus content, early videos, and I send you guys some cool stuff from my videos. I want to give a shout out to my top tier patrons: Bailey S, Callum S, Daniel C, David O, Jordan L, Juggernaut Otter, Caden B, Cassim S, Magna Collider, Martin S, Mike J, Moonboy, Nick H, and Sean R. Thank you guys so much for helping me, and thank you to all my other patrons as well. So if you guys want to see more content like this, then consider subscribing on Patreon. Thank you.